Hello, hello, and welcome to the Foreign Comics Calling podcast, our live stream. We haven't been doing podcasts so much as live streams lately, which I miss. I miss Ken's great talk ups and his unique word. He would always have an adjective for us.
Yeah.
Ebullient episode.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
do it. Then we need to just have Ken bring us in, man. Have him bring us home.
Bring us in, Ken.
Welcome to another extremely sexual,
Oh my god.
Oh.
wonderful broadcast from Foreign Comics Calling podcast.
Titillating
I totally got wet with that. That was crazy.
Yeah, I didn't wake up this morning feeling very sexual, Ken, but hey,
But
maybe
now you
I'll get in
do.
there.
Now you do.
I got some
Cool.
tingles on that one. It's the accent, man. It does
No,
it,
no,
right?
I was
Yeah.
groove. I'm getting in the
I was
groove.
going for
now, yeah.
And
I
we
was
should
going for
point
my
out-
best James Bond there, you know?
Oh, it's great. Ken has inspired us to all pop open an alcoholic beverage of some sort. What are you drinking, Ken?
I'm drinking a lovely French number called Argus,
Argus.
which is Argus, yeah, which is lovely 4% blonde beer, I believe. Blonde beer?
Nice.
No, they don't classify it as blonde beer, but I think it's blonde beer.
Very
Very
cool.
nice, very nice.
Nice. I like the bottle.
What do you guys have? Fleas, what do you have? What do you
Just some Irish cream. That's
right
good.
on. Define 999, Mr. Matt Royable. What do you have over there?
I'm having a local favorite. This is called the 2920 IPA. There's a brewery here called Second Street, and it is strong. It is a 7.3, baby.
Wow.
Ooh.
I'm
We'll
gonna.
We'll be
I'll
picking
be getting
that
a
up
little.
at the end of this.
I'll be
I got
getting a
a-
little buzz.
I got a salted caramel imperial ale, which is
Beautiful.
quite lovely.
Sounds
So-
tasty.
Beautiful.
It's been a minute since we did one of these, and we have a little bit of show and tell. I know we each have some stuff, but we wanted to talk about what's going on in the marketplace, in the community. There's been some big sales happening lately. Why don't I hand it
Yeah.
off to you, Matt? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about that Los Hombres X sale. It went for over $3,000. I believe it was a 5.0, and I was not expecting it to go that high. I thought it was going to maybe get into the 2.5 range, maybe at the limit 2.75. I didn't expect it to eclipse the $3,000.
Yeah.
I was blown away by that sale. I don't know about you guys, but
Well,
I mean-
it's such a rare book that if you're looking for it when you see it, you're probably gonna go like get in one of those bid wars, right?
yeah, that's what I think happened. Is I think a couple bidders got into a thing because usually.
Hi, Josh.
Yes, Josh.
Avocado
Josh
somewhere.
Allen, that's my boy right there. But yeah, usually, with some of those rare Mexican Silver Age keys, the buying opportunity just isn't there for so many people. So when one pops up, you might have, lower grades pop out. But that was a solid mid-grade book, and it was beautiful, presented well. I mean, that was kind of a perfect storm, I think, of a lot of elements.
And what
Yeah.
was the final price? This was the La Prensa X-Men one, right?
I think it was 3. I don't remember the font. Do you remember, Bagley? I could tell you.
It was,
Hold on.
it was a little over 3. I don't remember. the
Yeah,
exact price.
it was.
I'd like to say 3.5, but it could be a little bit up on that.
3.4, 3.5, something
Yeah,
along
yeah.
those lines. I believe.
You
Something
did,
like
Josh.
that.
You did indeed. Yeah.
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 Awesome.
Yeah. Josh
So
called it.
Does anybody
went
get the
for-
feeling that? Does
It
anybody
went
get
for
the feeling?
3,361.
Ah, there you go.
361. Okay.
So does anybody get the feeling that in the last year that foreigners are really starting to hot up now?
Yes,
I do. I feel it.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Along with everything.
Yeah.
Cards, comics. If it's a collectible, the collectible market is just insane.
Mr.
Darren.
Conway,
Oh, Darren.
sir.
Conway.
Yeah, I mean, it just I'm in a lot of different groups, toy groups, card groups. I mean, all over the place, and everyone is talking about where the fuck is this money coming from, and not only that, but a lot of the money being spent seems like dumb money, like on stuff that's relatively common. That West Coast Avengers recently, yeah, I get it's White Vision and shit, but a 9.8 going for whatever it went for, I think it went over a G. That's crazy. I mean, that book was a dollar bin book, even in high grades like a few weeks ago. So it just seems like there's my theory is that as the stock market becomes more gambly, that you're finding some investors and some people that are going, you know what, collectibles has usually been a pretty safe market. It's had pretty relatively safe returns. I think that maybe there's some new blood and new money all over the collectible scene.
Not only is there new blood and new money, the stock market itself, stockbrokers and people of that nature are now going to collectibles as investment. They're actually, we never saw that before. You never saw stockbrokers turning down stock and instead putting money into comics.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Collectibles. That's happening now. That they're actually doing that now, which is another thing feeding into this hyping up of these values and people spending crazy money.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like is it a crazy mix of nostalgia and easy money? You've got a lot of money that's been pumped in through the stimulus, and let's be honest, a lot of more wealthy people are doing quite well right now. So they've got money to spend, and so you combine that with the nostalgia, because the boomers. Yeah, exactly, Josh.
Yeah,
exactly. People buying parts, just pieces of books, and
sharing in the value of a comic.
Crazy.
Yeah, wow.
Making it seem like a comic book is a stock, which, let's say, I think it's a pretty safe investment, especially when you're talking about.
So it's just like any company stock. You're just saying your book is worth this much. You own this much of it. You own that percentage of it. You own that percentage of it, and if it ever sells or goes up in value down the line, that's
then we split it.
Yeah.
Not
always. They would, like the White Vision thing, like that just has a moment now, and that's going to settle back down because it's a comic book and stuff like that, right? There are bubbles and things like that.
Yeah, there will still be bubbles within there for sure.
That's the other thing about it is how much of this. I had this conversation with another group I was on where they were talking about, it was a card group. They were talking about this ridiculous spike, and they were like, "Is this a bubble? Is this going to crash?" And that's I think that's something to discuss or talk about is among all the collectibles, including the foreign comics collectibles. I mean, is this a bubble? And I told them at the time, I was like, it is a spike, it is a bubble, but how much is it going to come down once things kind of get back to normal? I don't think you're going to see that big of a drop. You might see 20%. 25% maybe at the most, something like that. But you're not going to see, a 70-80% crash on everything down to where it was. It's not going to happen, I don't believe.
Yeah.
Well, how about shows, Stephen? Are shows starting to appear on the schedule in the horizon or anything like that?
Big shows, no. There's one or two like tiny shows here that are happening. But as far as like the more prominent or bigger, well-known shows and stuff like that, they keep canceling. They keep postponing. There was one in February that postponed. There was one in March that postponed. ECCC in Seattle postponed. MegaCon was going to be in March, and they've moved to August.
Okay. But it is on the calendar. Some are on the calendar. August is.
There are some on the calendar right now. The biggest show that is still scheduled to happen, the earliest, is Heroes Con in Charlotte in June, mid-June, and that's the only big show anytime soon that I'm seeing still on the calendar.
Interesting.
Yeah,
and I'd say that's probably still too early as well. I think that one
may
get
they may wind up moving that as well.
Yeah. I don't see people feeling really safe to go to shows until the fall.
I agree.
Massive.
Yeah, I agree.
Most everyone's got their jab. I know for me, I'm so happy you got yours, Stephen. But I'm so freaking jelly of you. But yeah, I'm just. I call it get out of death free card. I know that sounds horrible, but in my mind, I've been thinking that. Like, I need my get out of death free card, man.
Well, it really is that for me because, I'm a medical courier is one of my main jobs. So I deal with vaccines and COVID specimens and all that all day long with 53 different doctors.
Frontline worker. Yeah, you need to be safe.
Definitely needed to get the vaccines for sure.
Well, this is what I think. I think that how hard that bubble is going to fall is going to actually be based on actual scarcity, right? So if we're talking those fucking Marvel comic cards from the 90s, yeah, you're going to see a boom. You're going to see a bigger thing. But when you're talking foreigns, there actually is real scarcity in buying opportunity there. You know, we've kind of tried to move away from the word rare, but it's more about how often are you going to get that buying off, and how scarce is that buying off.
Ta-da!
And so,
I said it all along.
Yeah. And so I think it's going to depend on the actual true scarcity within those individual collectible markets. And as long as the scarcity is still there, I think that's kind of a cushion from that hit.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. Yeah,
but we'll see. I don't know. Anything can happen, you know.
It's still going to finish out much higher after all this than it ever was before all this started. I mean, there's no question that's going to be the case. I think across the board, that's going to be the case.
Yeah,
definitely.
But it's fascinating.
Any other high watermark sales? Since I think the last one he did of these was probably 3 or 4 months ago, if not longer. Any big sales in there that you want to talk about?
The Filipino 300. Sold for $1,200, and it was a really nice one. But I'm going to assume even if it was pressed and slabbed, it might not get past the 7 range or the 6 range. And so I'm thinking that at least as far as the Filipino 300, that book is selling for higher in grade with the equivalent American book. Okay.
Right.
So any sale, any foreign sale where you can take an American and take an American 7.0 300. I don't think it's selling for over a G. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But then you take that foreign equivalent, and if it's higher than the American, then that's significant. And you're seeing that. Another one would be.
I mean, hang on. Just imagine someone actually having a 9.8 Filipino ASM 300. Can you imagine?
I couldn't even put a price on it.
Oh my
God! It would almost have to have been. No. It would almost have to have been like it was printed and it ended up in an American soldier's short box on his ship, and he came back to America and just forgot about it. Maybe. I mean, it's possible. The nicest Filipinos that we see are almost always Filipinos that escaped the islands. They somehow made it off the islands and made it somewhere else. And those usually are the ones that are the higher grades. So it's possible. But, Stephen, I mean, that's.
Yeah. That's
I was talking about Josh. I hope it would land a 7, dude. If it would be the highest graded one in the slab that I know of.
Yeah.
Another significant sale, an Aussie Horowitz Avengers sold for $745, and that was, as it's inching closer to a G, those Horowitz Marvels are beautiful, beautiful. I know some people have an issue because the covers some of them look significantly different from the American original. But when you're talking about scarcity and buying off scarcity, those Horowitz Aussies, man, they're tough.
What the publisher is Horowitz? I don't know much about that.
The publisher's Horowitz. They did a few issues, Daredevil, Avengers, a Spider-Man, and in most cases the covers were redrawn, so they didn't have the original art. I can't remember how far they went. Do you remember how many issues they went, Ken?
No idea. To be honest,
I don't know.
I was going to say to you, Matt, I'm only familiar with the way that the Avengers one looks. But how about the other ones you just mentioned, the Daredevil? Do they look significantly different to the American one?
The Spider-Man looks significantly different. The Daredevil is the one that doesn't. The Daredevil Horowitz is probably my favorite cover of the bunch because they took the classic Daredevil 1 art and they made it like almost like crime noir. I mean, it's a beautiful cover. I wish I had a thumbnail for Eric to throw up on the screen, but the Horowitz are great books. So, I mean, and those are just a few that we're talking about. I know Josh Allen, who's watching right now and was commenting, he's going to be writing probably a market report soon that's going to go into a little more depth.
Nice.
All the different sales that have kind of blown our minds lately. Cool. But I mean,
I want to jump into some show and tell stuff.
And let's do it.
I won't blow on my whole. Let's just kind of round table a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I shared this a little bit ago since we were talking about Daredevil 1. I shared this a little bit ago, and you had some information on it, which I don't have. which is like the way these came packaged, right? So this is the Italian, right? So this is,
yeah.
So what's the story on? So this is Italian. This is a reprint of Daredevil 1, right?
Yes.
It's got a Fallen from Grace, which makes me think it's like 93-ish, right?
Yeah, it was printed later, and I think that Corno did a couple of those. I don't know for sure. So that one's the Daredevil 1, but remember, there's a couple classic Corno Marvel number 1s that they could have done. But I love the fact that that is still sealed, and it's like, I can see that hanging on a hook in a comic book shop in Italy.
It's a little fragile.
It's a little wonky, a little fragile. I'd be very careful with it, but I love that book here. Beautiful book.
Yeah.
But that's the story. It's a later printing. I don't know, because in 90, I don't know if Corno was still around. I don't think so. But.
No.
Speaking of Daredevil 1, I just
yes,
this bad boy.
That's a nice one.
Which is the original, right? Someone just posted, Morton maybe posted a really great description about this, right? So
how to tell the difference, between the original. You got to be careful with that book. There's an original, and then there's the one that was printed in the 80s, Eric? I forget. I think it was the 80s.
This is the original. Thanks to his little handy-dandy guide there,
Yeah.
So what do you guys got? I'm just going to...
we'll just round table.
What do you guys got to show?
Do you want to go in up, left, to the right, down,
let's
to
go,
Steven?
Whoever's next. Matt, what do you got?
Okay. I recently got a bunch of Turkish stuff from Ilka. So this is a Turkish 122, Spidey 122, Death of Gwen Stacy.
Wow.
This is this is a badass one. I don't
Web of
know
Spider-Man 32.
Yep.
Web of Spider-Man
classic
32.
Storyline. Classic storyline. Classic.
Craven's Last Hunt.
Craven's Last Hunt. Yep, exactly. I got some others. Got a Zek Putty. Got I forget this copy. I got a whole bunch of Turkish stuff. Got a Norwegian First Cloak and Dagger.
Oh, nice.
Yep, love that cover.
Love that cover.
Love all of those.
Recently got some Brazilian stuff from Andino. I'm a sucker for Reaper or Death, whatever on the cover. So if it's going to end up on Batman Brazilian, I'm going to get it. This one really turns me on. This is the Turkish Vampire. It uses Vampirella 1 and a creepy cover, but they combine them. It does not have Vampy 1 in it, I do not believe, but it has the classic Frazetta art. Freaking rad. And I ended up with a Spanish X-Men. I forget. Is it one? I wrote it down. I always forget this issue number. I think it is 117.
That's
Spanish
a redraw,
117. It's the redraw by Lopez Espy. So it's a Mundi. And I love the Spanish. I love the oversized books. I
love the Mundis.
Yeah. What a great publisher. Vertice, Mundi. Yeah. I just love them. And that's it for now.
Nice.
Well, if we go in, Matt to moi, and then over to Stephen.
Sure.
I guess it's my turn next, yeah?
And then around and around and around.
Round and around. Round and around we go. What you got, Ken?
Cool. Well, I was thinking today, what the hell am I going to show today? Because I'm on a savings binge because of I'm now my own boss, so every penny counts, so I can't really afford to spend anything. So what I've done is I've just had a quick look around what I've got, and I've focused on 2 covers from all around the world. So I thought I'd bring the big one first. I mean, these are books I've had a while, okay? But I thought I'd show that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, my logic is we've had quite a lot of new people join recently, and they may not have seen this sort of cover. So I thought, Avengers 1, I'll focus on that. Always bearing in mind that what attracts me to the hobby is the differences.
Yeah.
The more different, the better. So, that's the Mexican. And then moving on to the Newton.
Nice.
Again, I mean, check out those crazy colors.
Oh, the Newtons it's like they colored them in psychedelic or something.
And I've just noticed, that Thor is wearing no pants. What?
Showing some of that sexy leg work right there.
Hey, you said we were going to bring the sexy.
Yeah,
I brought the sexy
We're bringing that male sexy.
Then moving on, I thought I would show the German,
Oh, nice.
which again
I
is
like that
crazy
one.
colours.
Raka.
Yeah, crazy colours. I mean,
Yeah,
look
I
at that.
like
We've got Iron Man silver. Wow. I mean, look at
Iron
Loki.
Man is silver. Yeah.
That's
that purple
cool.
Loki.
Look at that. Look at that. It's crazy colours.
Yeah, I love the colors in that one too.
And that's issue number one, right? Sometimes it's
Yeah,
like
yeah. You're right. You see
sometimes
like
the
issue number
numbering.
5 or whatever.
Right.
And then moving on to that one.
Oh, nice. Got the block.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got that from our own Mac Daddy, Matt.
Avengers, yeah.
Oh, Mac Daddy. Yeah, the
Scott-
Mac Daddy, the foreign Mac Daddy.
Scottus McManus. Yeah.
Yeah. Great
Again,
one.
the crazy colours.
Again,
But
crazy colors.
that's
Look at
block
it.
all
I
over,
love
isn't it?
Yeah, the colors on that Iron Man are awesome.
Aren't they just?
It's like he tried to turn the classic Iron Man into more of the
Right?
yellow-red Iron Man. You know?
Yeah.
Exactly. And then I thought I'd just swap it around, and there's that one.
Wow.
Another badass mutant.
With an
Does that
overall
one have
team-
the poster, Ken? Does that have the poster?
It does. It does.
Nice.
Wow.
Somewhere in here. But
That's neat. That's neat how they did it more of an orange background on that. That's
isn't it?
definitely
I mean,
different.
look at that.
So is that
That is
from
cool.
is that from the first run too? Just curious. Like I just happen to have like here's this is one from the second run, right?
That's
That's
right.
the Yappa, isn't it? Wait,
So
Which is
that Yappa or
which is
Mutant?
the back cover to what I'm going to show next. Well, not the back cover, but I've got them.
You are
I
right.
followed
Look at that.
Matt's advice. Like
Look at
spin them
that.
up.
Twins.
Oh, you lucky bastards. I don't have one of those.
Oh, nice.
Gosh.
Look at
There
that.
you go.
I got
There
that.
you
Look at
go.
that. Look at that.
Killing it, Ken.
Mine's like womp.
Yeah, that's nice. Or as they say in
Killing
Oz, that's
That's
nice.
beautiful.
That's nice.
That's nice. I like that.
And
That's great.
and that one from Deutschland.
Wow.
Wow.
Nice again.
I like how they
Yeah.
use the K in America.
Come
I
again?
love the K. I love the K in America.
Me too. Yeah.
There's something cool about it. I don't know what it is.
It's funny when they change it on a proper noun like that. Like, you know,
Mhm.
Doctor Strange, it makes sense. Although it doesn't make sense because it's his last name, right? So
Yeah.
they should leave Strange as Strange. And America is a name. It's like they
Yeah.
should leave Captain and leave America the same, right?
I mean,
Yeah, it's weird.
Doctor Strange in Germany, do they have the K in Doctor, or is it still C? Is it Doctor?
Shit, I don't know. I'm gonna have to research that.
And he's
Could be DOK.
Centella, right? Dr. Centella. In the German, he's like Der Magier, right? It's like
Yeah,
right,
Der
right.
Magier. Yeah, it's DER and then MAGIER or something like that.
And that's my last one, my little digest size, the Mighty Super Team.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is that a Yappa, Kim?
That is a Yaffa, yeah. Nothing on the back, but yeah. Hey,
What up,
Robert.
That's my boy
Roberto
over there.
Fordham.
So I never saw that. I never saw that title before, Ken. The Mighty Super Team.
It
Like,
was
what number is that?
just-
How many did
Just
they
a
release?
one-off
Just a
special.
one-shot?
Just a one-off, yeah.
Yappa was
One-
such a
one
weird
shot.
publisher.
Neat.
That's-
Awesome.
That's cool.
And I've officially blown my wad. That's it.
Oh, I got
You
a whole
blew it all over the screen.
Yeah. I've got a radio somewhere.
Okay, Bagley.
What do you
I don't know
got?
how
Okay.
you follow that. Jesus.
What?
No,
What
I
you
can't
got,
follow
please?
that. You guys are more going to the real classic stuff, which I love to death. I love that stuff. I just haven't really dug in myself financially into that part of the foreign market myself,
So
like
clearly-
you guys have.
So clearly, Steven
I
is the
stick-
smartest among us.
I stick mostly with the bronze, copper age stuff. You guys dig into that silver age stuff, which I like. I love. I love it. It is amazing stuff. But I stick with more of the copper and then going into like some of the bronze age stuff myself.
Maybe. Yeah.
I've got a bunch of stuff, but when you were talking about sets, it's great to be able to put together a set. Now, when you talk about a set, you're either talking about all the different foreign versions of a particular book,
Mm-hmm.
or you're talking about all of the copies of that book in a particular country that were made. So either way, you can refer to that in the foreign market as a set, technically. I had recent pickups of a couple of sets, which are actually all of the issues of a book in that particular country.
Mm.
For example, I'm a big New Mutants fan, as many who follow me know. I found Spanish, all of the Fallen Angels
That's nice.
issues. I literally
That's
got them
nice.
all at once, all from one person.
That's cool. Nice.
And it's all 8 issues of that miniseries. That in Spanish it's Angeles Kaidos, which basically
Fallen
means
Angels,
fallen
right?
angels. Fallen
Yeah.
angels, yeah.
Did you
and
buy
the reason
that?
I like this,
Did you buy that on the group, or did you go on to Total?
I bought this on eBay. It was on American eBay.
Really?
These are really
Wow.
yes, and these are the entire set of them, all in one eBay sale posting, and they're all in really nice shape. They're really great looking copies. That's a Mike Mignola cover actually right there, which is kind of interesting.
Nice. Yeah.
And it was all 8 of them. And I like this series because it has Sunspot and Warlock and, some of the New Mutants characters. Boom Boom's in it, But it was the entire 8-issue run, and I think it was like $30
Wow, it's a no-brainer, dude.
for the entire 8-issue run. And I was like, yeah.
Hello, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Why not?
Hey, Brian.
What's up, Brian?
Boy, don't you love, can you hold that up again, please? Like one of the title. Like, I love when a local artist will take the logo and sort of, it's not a font. They just have to recreate the lettering
Yeah.
in a translation.
Yeah, if you look at the American Fallen Angels, the way the design and artistic look of that font is exactly the same, but they did it in a different language. Yeah, and it's really neat how they can kind of do that and take that same look of a customized font look and do it up in a different language like that and make it look good, It really is amazing how they can do that.
And that's why these aren't foreign reprints. These are editions.
These are editions, not reprints.
Fucking reprint.
If you only call them reprint,
I'm going to lose my mind.
Only called them
reprints. What's that mean?
They do? Reprint from within that same country for a previously released book in that country.
He's right,
Yeah. I feel like we're always talking about that, about these amazing artistic flourishes that these local artists are doing to make these books. And, we got to respect that.
I'm seeing that on eBay a lot. Oh, it's the German reprint. Like, that's
they're wrong.
Reprint. It's a German edition. Get it right. Real quick here, I'll go through some of these others. I got Italian X-Men's.
Oh, nice.
Nice. We'll save them
from Joe.
We'll go around a couple times, please.
Okay, I still got another thing I can show.
Okay, yeah.
I still got another big stack of stuff I can show.
Go then.
Awesome. Just go through these Italian X-Men's here.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick.
Love those Marvel Italias. They're so well.
First Jim Lee.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
First Jim Lee Italian. That's a great one.
Yep.
Just a whole bunch of these.
Nice.
Those are cool.
Yeah, soak it all in. Lovely.
Any candidates for you to get signed and slabbed and do what you do?
All of these are candidates for sign and slab as far as I'm concerned. Jim Lee for that one.
Yeah, that one should get a Jim Lee sig. Yeah, put it in a yellow slab.
That's one that people will really like and really go after and everything. But check this out. These are the 2 other big ones, and I got another stack I could show later here for some other stuff when we come back around. Here's a X-Men Annual 9.
Oh, wow.
Which has the, Journey into Mystery cover swipe, the first Thor. And this one is cool. It's like really thick.
Wow.
Really really nice. And this, of course, has the second part of the New Mutants Special Edition Asgard storyline in it, which is a fabulous piece with beautiful art by Art Adams in it. That is really cool. And this is a beautiful looking copy.
Especial.
And then last for me for this part of it is a big 100-page. It's a comic book. It's not square bound. It's like a normal comic book, but it's really thick, super glossy. 100-page X-Men. It has X-Men number 1, number 2, number 3, a couple of other things in it as well. Really nice, thick, and absolutely gorgeous condition. Absolutely beautiful. That's another one I'm.
What's up,
might get that one signed by Jim and slabbed as well. So
nice.
Yeah. So there's my part 1.
That's awesome.
I like it.
So I have a few more to show too, and then we'll keep going around this way. A couple more. We'll do a couple laps around. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. So my local comic shop. I told the guy there, his name is Wade. It's Wade's Comic Madness in Pennsylvania, and I told him I collect foreigns, and anything he gets, he puts aside for me, right? And he sent me a note like a month ago, like, "Hey, I got some foreigns for you." I was like, "All right, I'll cruise in whenever." And he said, "I got some South African books," and I was like, "Holy shit! Like, I don't have any South African books, right?" Like, I search for Super Comics books, I never find them on sale, let alone like in an affordable rate, just not even available, right? So I went in and he had 3 Super Comics books, right? So
Dude.
we're all from the same
Love
month,
those. I love those.
1979. So here's the Thor one, right?
Beautiful.
Oh man, you're making
Nice.
me jelly, Eric.
And the
Yeah,
condition
I
is like
love
really
those South
crisp.
American
Like it
Super
could probably
Comics.
be pressed, right? But I have 3. They're all from the same month. The fun thing about these, other than they're fucking awesome books, is they have like a celebrity poster in each of these, and they're like
Good, you got the poster.
the most random celebrities, right? So here we have Bonnie Tyler, totally of the heart
Nice.
singer, right? And they, if you know, they spelled her name wrong. It's IE, but they spelled it Bonnie with
Why?
and a
The
little
Welsh
little,
songstress herself.
Oh, and you have the posters in them too. God damn it, Eric!
Yeah.
Why are you doing this to me, man?
well, let me get to the great.
And you
This
found them in America of all places.
Hulk #1, right? Same month, right? Super Comics. This poster is, because of course it is, it's Donnie and Marie Osmond,
Of course.
right?
Because that goes with Hulk. So
Isn't that great? 1979, right? And the books have like this book has an ad that shows the other 2 books, so it's from the same month, same person had them, right? And then here's a Spider-Man #5, right?
Beautiful. God damn, those are nice looking copies too, dude. God damn.
Featuring a poster of everyone's favorite Willie Ames.
Willie Ames. Oh my God! Look at that hair.
From 8 is Enough and Charles in Charge. So
they did a great job of matching those celebrities up.
So he had the 3 of these, right? And I was like, I'm willing to pay whatever he's going to ask, right? So I said, how much for the 3 of those? He's like, like $25. And I was like,
oh shit.
I was like, why don't I give you 100 for it? Like I thought he meant 100, like 25 per. And I was like, I'll give you 100 for the 3. He's like, no, I mean 25 for all 3 of them.
Oh my God.
I got these for like $8.50.
Take my money.
Right?
Oh my God, Eric. You're giving me a heart attack here, bro. Dude,
$25 for those, but because I was able to save the money on that, I had extra money to spend on what else he had, which was this.
It's a big deal too, dude.
Right? So he had this.
Wow.
First Spidey Novedades is tough. In Mexico, they pay decent money for that book, dude.
Yeah, so I got this for about $120.
Nice.
So,
That's not bad at all. In Mexico, that is a tough book to get. A lot of the Mexicans, later 80s Copper Age collectors, that was their run. That Novedades run was their nostalgia. You know what I mean? And they're highly sought after. And those Super Comics. So this is the thing with those damn posters, okay? On those posters, remember that they would show pictures of the winners of the prizes. And I know I've talked about this before, but Republican Press, who created the South African comics books, was on the right side of history. They would show a mixing of the races. They would show black, white, mix, whatever on those winning pages. They chose not to censor the different realities of apartheid there. And because of that, look at that. They are on the right side of history.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. These I'm real proud of. I just fucking lucked out into them.
You lucked out.
Well done.
That's the lucky buy of the year, I think, that I've heard of.
And just another.
And that's something else. And that's something else to put out there for all these people who are just getting into looking into foreign collecting and everything. Is understand that this is a very tough hobby. It is very tough to get a lot of these books. A lot of them, most of them, you're trying to get either from overseas or whatever else. Trying to source them out and do all that is very tough. But in some cases, it's not just a matter of getting a copy from that country. It's a matter of even people in that country being able to find a copy, because even in their own country, they have trouble sometimes finding with certain books. Yeah. And I mean, forget just trying to find one from over here to get it from over there to over here. Say, hey, find me a copy of this. Like, I don't know about that. Those are not a dime a dozen over here. It's going to take years for me to find a copy of that book.
The lesson learned there is like animate your local comic shop to be on the lookout for these, right? So they,
Yes.
you have pull lists and stuff, right? He knows now that I'm the guy that's going to come in and buy the foreign. So anything he finds one-offs in collections, he's going to put with my name on it. And I went in earlier today and picked one up, which I'll show later. But he pulls aside any of these, right? So, and he doesn't have, there's not a lot of me's coming in the shop buying foreign books. So, so animate your local comic shop. Let them know that that's what you collect, and they're going to pull them aside, right? Just one more fun one before I go to Matt. So this is from my friend Maria. I just bought it off eBay. It just happened to be from her, but I'm starting to collect like Planet of the Apes from around the world, and I just couldn't pass up on this Portuguese one, right? And the reason is like that's awesome in itself, right? It digests, but it's got a little mask in the middle.
Oh, cool!
Wow, cool.
So you might cut that out, put a little drawstring on there, and I'll be.
How many kids cut that out and ran around their house with a freaking monkey?
Yeah, right. Awesome. Yeah, thanks Maria for that one. Good one.
Oh, Maria's awesome.
The lovely Maria. Yeah,
she's awesome. Yeah. So what do you got, Mr. Roybal?
Yeah, Eric won pickups. Jesus, man. South African books. Okay, so I'm going to have to pull out some big guns. Modern. I don't normally do moderns. I just don't. But Ilka out of Turkey is doing some amazing stuff with his shop, Parallel Urban. Yes. Claude's got an amazing German collection recently. He was sharing that. I mean, you lucked out there, Claude. There are some beautiful books in there.
No doubt.
But the Parallel Urban shop out of Istanbul is doing some amazing stuff. And they recently are doing this homage to the Hulk annual. It's by CNR. It's the Immortal Hulk. It's a trade. It's the Immortal Hulk 1. And it's redone by CNR. But, that classic cover. CNR is an amazing artist. He's got a really good way with musculature, and I hope one day that we're going to interview him on Global Comic Safari. One of the goals is to get an interview with one of the Turkish artists. But this, it came with like the normal edition, the black and white, right? But this is the thing that was so special about this for me. The glow in the dark version is amazing. Cool. When was the last time you bought a glow-in-the-dark comic?
Right.
Yeah. It's been freaking decades, probably. So, he went and he did the work to get the glow-in-the-dark done there in Turkey. He sent us, Ilka sent us some pictures of the process. So they print it, right? And then they have to go back in, and there's like this platen, like this flat where they put 4 different books. And then it's almost like a screen printing process. It's almost like a screen. It goes over the top, and then they apply that material, that glow-in-the-dark material. And I don't know. I'm supposed to have another couple of these coming, but I think that if these books get found out, I think there could be some glow definitely coming from these books. I mean, I love it. When I picked it up and I did the first glow-in-the-dark, I felt like I was that kid back in the 90s when I was doing my Ghost Rider glow in the dark.
Could you demonstrate that for us, Matt? Could you hold it up to the light and turn the lights off?
It's not that dark. I don't think I can, unfortunately.
Did you try it? Did you try it though? Did you verify that it glows in the dark?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I did.
We'd rather see the book than you anyway.
Yeah, I did. I tried it. So just like glow in the dark, the old glow in the dark stuff, you've got to charge it up. You gotta. So right next to a light.
Hold it up under light source for a little while. Yeah.
Yeah, for a little while, and then it charges up, and it looks so fucking rad. Man, glow in the dark in comics. People talk so much shit about the crazy '90s post gimmicks, the fake gimmicky crap. But in a weird way, I think we're kind of primed for a return to some of that.
They are.
I don't know. I mean, Marvel, take notice. Right. Ilka is doing some shit, some forward-thinking shit, or you could call it taking the past and making it relevant again. But let's shake shit up, man. That's why I love those because I feel like they just.
But then again, if the big companies start doing it, then it sort of takes away the charm from the ones. You know what I mean? and then it'll
from the small ones.
it'll
Yeah.
fade, right? Yeah.
That glow in the dark print one was 500. They made
Wow.
500 and that's it. There's no more.
Wow.
So, I love that.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Superb.
Ken, you're up. What else you got, good sir?
Well, it's a little a little promo for my own YouTube channel. Actually, I've got this drive going on to reach 300 subscribers, and in our niche within a niche, it's hard.
Yeah,
because it's like American books and what else is out there. So anyway, 300 subscribers. I'm really pumping hard. The 300 subscriber will be entered into a draw. And I'm going to wang them out so there's no fixing or anything, Basically, my mother-in-law is not going to be the 300 subscriber.
Ken, I know this was a sectional episode, but we know we don't want to wang them out here, okay?
But what's going to happen is they're going to get this lot.
Whoa!
Oh shit!
No, yeah. For me, they're doubles, but for somebody, it's a good start to a foreign collection.
Oh
So
my gosh!
Okay, let me just 1 minute. Let me just post out some of these.
I'm gonna go grab another beer, guys.
Go for it. There's stuff
Whoa.
like that in it,
Look at that.
Oh, man.
And
These
partly
are
I'm doing.
these are all Alan Class books.
Yes, a lot.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm doing this because it is taking so long to get to 300, and the person that actually gets me to 300 deserves this. I think.
Nice. And it was remind us of the name again of your channel.
It's Ken's comic book channel. As simple as that.
So if you're one of the people watching this, whenever, go subscribe to it. You could win this, right? It's a chance to win.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Why don't you,
no-brainer.
Why don't you give like 3 books to everyone that subscribes from 300 to 310?
Thought about it, but believe me, it is a struggle getting to where I've got to now.
Okay.
No. I think this is a bigger catch for the 300 subscriber. They're just going to get a shed load of books.
God, that's awesome.
And by the way, this is open worldwide, and the shipping is on me.
Whoa.
They pay nothing. They pay nothing. Just my way to appreciate the
Ken,
person
where
that
they
does that.
Finally reaching 300. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Those are
Look at those.
just fabulous.
So yeah, there's a lot there,
That's awesome.
and I'm done.
Awesome.
so,
Ken,
okay. So how many? Which subscribers getting that? The
The
300?
300th subscriber is getting all those.
wow.
Yeah.
To Ken's comic book channel.
That's it.
And watch his channel. Ken does great content. I'm constantly amazed by the production values of your channel, Ken.
No,
Yeah,
thanks.
You have
No.
original music, original graphics. I mean, I love it.
Dancing girls, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should see the outtakes.
Nice. Fleas, what do you got?
All right. We're talking about set, so set.
Ooh,
Nice.
Set. So,
buckle in. Let's buckle in.
I had the opportunity, thanks to Joe in in our Facebook group, Joe Favia, I think his name
Yeah,
is.
Joe Fabio.
Oh, Joe, yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
I had the opportunity from him to acquire this. Again, I'm a New Mutants fan, and I love getting the foreign New Mutant stuff. I was able to acquire the entire Italian run of New Mutants from number 1 to number 31, I believe it is.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
or no, excuse me, number 20
Thank
to
you,
number
Klaus.
23.
Thank you. That is a
And
massive run, Steve.
it is. It's great, and it's the whole thing. And not only is it the whole thing, they're in great shape. So, I mean, it's I have a bound edition of this that apparently they sold like the first, I think it was the first 4 issues, the first 4 issues of this, and then I guess copies that they didn't sell, they had sitting aside that didn't get put out. They turned around and took off the covers, and then bound them all together with 4 issues of Man Thing.
Yeah.
And then just kind of alternate them. First issue Mutants, first issue Man Thing, second issue Mutants, second issue Man Thing. And they did it in this real thick bound edition. And I've got a copy of that, but this is the actual
Nice.
comic
Raw
itself,
copy.
of those. And I mean, it's just like the first ones of these, it's interesting because they changed right in the middle of doing these, they changed up the formatting completely. Because the first issues were all done normal comic book size, normal comic book thickness,
Right.
just normal. It looks like a normal American comic book, other than it's all in Italian. It's got some variations on the colorings and everything are exactly the same. There's no difference on any of that. And people who are coming from American and coming into the foreign comics collecting, you're going to have two kinds, generally speaking. You're going to have the ones that want to get comics that look exactly like the American version of the comics, but maybe with a different language titling and stuff like that. But as much like the original look of the comics in America as it can look, they like that. Then there are guys like, and I appreciate that too, but I also appreciate, like when Ken was showing us there, these weird variations where you see different colorings, different artists retakes and reswipings of art of the same of the American cover, all that kind of stuff. To me, taking the cover and flipping it negative wise, and things like that.
Yeah.
You'll see all that kind of weird stuff, and I like that too. But some people
Yeah.
won't. Some collectors don't like all that. No, I don't want. I want it to look like the American version. That's fine. I get that. These all look like that, and like I say, these first ones,
That's
they're
cool.
all comic book size, and they're all normal comic book thickness and everything. I'm just going to blow through these real quick here so you can see
Nice.
them.
The publisher is called Play Press, right, Stephen?
Play Press. Yeah, Edizione Play Press.
Yeah.
And now, and when I get here in just a second, you're going to see, and these have a lot of first appearances in them too, as well, guys. First Magma, first Warlock, first all kinds of stuff,
So was that New Mutants run? Like I'm nostalgic to the books I was buying real time when I was a kid and I was reading them. Were you reading these first run as a kid? Like, was that what you were reading?
Yeah. I was. I got into them in around 85. It had been out for like 20 something issues or something by then. And I went back and got all the issues and I started reading them from there.
That's just the right number to then have to go back to the back issues, right? That's just the right number to come in on.
Yeah. Beautiful books. Now, this one was the last one that was done with the normal comic book, normal thickness, normal everything like you would see in an American comic. These, however, do have the covers are a little more glossy than the American versions, a little bit thicker paper stock than the American versions, not by much, but a little bit. So a little bit better quality, actually, than even the American versions as far as the materials they were using. Then, when they went to number 12, again, this one is the same as well. Number 12, it was number 13 they did this. Now, when they got to number 13, they changed it up. They thickened the paper stock a little more. Still the nice gloss, real thick glossiness they have to it, but then they went square bound. And starting with number 13, which for those of you who don't know, New Mutants number 13 is the first appearance of Doug Ramsey, Cypher, who in modern parlance, if you're into modern New Mutants books that have been coming out over the last year or so, Cypher has played a much bigger role in the Krakoa and New Mutants universe stuff that's going on and everything. This was his first appearance, was in this issue. But these, they went to a square bound.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And they started
so those contain 3 issues? Yeah, I was gonna ask.
Yeah, like these, 1 issue. These, 2 issues. And they usually throw in another issue of something else in between that as well. So they went from doing single issues with single comic book size to doing double issues with square bound, and maybe even throwing a little side story thing in them as well, like the Man Thing. The first ones had 2 things. They had the New Mutants book and they had Man Thing. And that's the other thing I like about these, is that they would pull these cool little Man Thing corner boxes into them, which is cool. With this, when they went to square bound, they changed up from the Man Thing, because the Man Things were from Marvel Comics Presents. The first issues of Marvel Comics Presents, there was a Man Thing backup story in those for like the first 12 issues. That's what you get in those first 12 issues of this, is that backup Man Thing part by part thing added into those. Once they got to those and went to square bound, they changed to Cloak and Dagger.
Now he's better.
And they started doing Cloak and Dagger as a backup, along with a couple of New Mutants issues. So they changed to that square bound. And these are nice, solid, firm books. My big brother is very jealous of this one. New Mutants 15 is his book. He said when he was a kid walking into a 7-Eleven in Philadelphia and he saw that Ileana there with her chest poked out there and her breast poked out there in the air as a 13-year-old, 14-year-old kid, he was all woo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah.
He loves that book. He absolutely loves that one. First Warlock.
Oh, right.
And of course Bill Sienkiewicz coming into the run. Now you get all the Bill Sienkiewicz runs, which of course Bill is my favorite artists. These will all get signed. These are beautiful books. They will probably grade anywhere from like the 758 category up to 9294, 96. Some of these are absolutely beautiful copies.
Coming to a CBCS slab soon.
Oh yeah, coming to Signatures, Bill, Bob. Here's one of my favorites, Annual #1.
Nice.
Which of course the first Lila Cheney.
How much did that cost to get shipped from Italy, Stephen?
I'll tell you that in just a minute here. Blow through these here. And then we start getting into Legion. Legion Cameo in this issue. And this is actually all Legion. This has 25 and 26 in the same book. So it has both the Legion Cameo and the Legion first full appearance all in one book, which is really cool because in America, we have 25, which has the cameo. It's the cameo. It's not really the first appearance, but it has some value. But number 26 is the first full appearance. So that's where the biggest value is. Well, here they are together. You can't complain. You can't sit here and say, well, that one had that and this one had that. No, this one's got them both.
Nice.
All Legion there. All Legion there. And then just a few more here. Finish them out. It's the entire Italian run where New Mutants is not only the featured story, but also the covers and everything
changed
else.
The logo on that one. You can see that's where they changed the logo.
They did change. They even changed it. Yeah, they changed like the originals to have like the classic New Mutants.
Yeah.
And then changed it up to be the new ones. Now, my understanding is that these were the ones that were New Mutants. Any of the New Mutants issues after this, which was the last one that was done like that, were done as side stories in other books.
Oh, right.
So up until here, you're looking at the entire run that was New Mutants, focused on New Mutants. It's all New Mutants with New Mutants covers. This is the set. But any issues after that, like the first Deadpool, the first Cable, the first anything else that was done in Italian, it was either done separately apart from this original Play Press series, or it was done as a side story in another book somewhere.
Yeah. So they didn't get to the covers of 87 or 98.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if I'm not forgetting here. And here's what's cool. You also see here, you got the first ones are the regular and then the square bound. You can see the difference there.
The square bound,
Yeah, where they changed it right in the middle of the production, So that was kind of cool.
You were going to talk about how much the shipping was. Was it insane?
The shipping, that I'll tell you this about Joe. Joe packs very well. He packs very, very safely. These got to me very safely. It cost me, if I remember correctly, $45.
No, it's not bad.
That's not bad.
That's okay. Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
This is heavy. This is heavy, guys. He had to pack these up really safely, really securely. It's very heavy. It was $45 to ship them.
Can't beat that.
And I got them in 5 days from Italy. From Italy, 5 days.
Wow. That's great.
Wow.
They came fast.
That is fast.
And also those Italian X-Men I showed you earlier, I also bought those from Joe as well later on after this. And again, they came just as fast. He basically has 2 ways to ship. One is cheaper and it will take longer. But the other, for me personally, more secure, more safe. It is pricier. But considering what you're getting, especially if you're getting a bunch like this,
totally worth it.
It's totally worth it, and you get them fast. I mean, they come fast. I was thrilled with that.
That is awesome. That's a great run, man.
So
they're beautiful.
Good work.
Really, I would definitely be getting those signed and graded again.
That's the really great thing about entering the foreign comic collecting niche sort of thing. It's everything's different. There are just so many different variances for everybody to just enjoy. This. I mean, me, I don't collect what you collect, Stephen, but I'm just my eye just like, oh wow,
Exactly.
Yeah. It almost doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's from the 50s and 60s. It doesn't matter if it's from the 80s and 90s. It's just cool. It just looks cool. It is cool. It's something you can't really get from here. It wasn't made here. It's something you have to acquire through other means. It's harder to get. It's harder to get your hands on. So it's neat. It's just really cool.
Yeah, I love seeing someone in the group keeps posting the Centas de Brujas, the horror books from, I'm sure.
Cuentos de Brujas. Yeah. Rulo's been posting those.
Cuentos de Brujas. Yeah. Witches' Tales.
To Ken's point, that's not something like I'm going to crack collecting that. But God, I love seeing all those posts. I'm like, everyone's cool. Right? Like, they're so awesome.
And
I
I do
just
have
love.
some of those. I've got a Civitas Brujas number 3 that I had
Wow.
graded that I found at a show for $20. You know, it got
Oh,
5.5, and the only reason it got 5.5 was water damage, that you can't even tell by looking at the book. Otherwise, it's freaking gorgeous.
That title was Journey into Mystery at some point, right? Didn't that run the Thor stuff in that title?
Yeah,
yes,
it
I
did. It
believe
did.
so.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, it did run into the journey of into mystery. Yeah.
So I got a couple. Nice. Look at that.
Hey, lovely.
Yeah, I figure.
Sorry, carry on.
You have to have some guardrails on your collecting, otherwise you're going to go absolutely
Stupid.
Yeah.
right. So I have a couple more things to show. I maybe 2 more rounds. I don't know what you guys have, but
I got 2 rounds in me.
Oh yes, look at that.
here's another fantastic
Nice
from Australia.
poster. Does it have the poster?
No poster, and it's pretty beat up, but I'm pretty happy to have it in my
It's still a
collection.
badass book.
Yeah. It's not like a $3,000 version. It's like a $100 version, right? Which is in my budget. So proud to have it.
But it's exactly, it's pride of ownership, isn't it?
Right. So here's a set I'm just starting, and I have others scattered around, but these are the ones that I can show, right? So in honor of our friend Ken, here's the UK.
Woo!
I'm starting to collect Amazing Spider-Man number 5, right? I have Friends Are Coming. I have this one. I'm also the nerd that buys these.
Beautiful.
Oh, I love those.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they are awesome.
You can usually find them pretty cheap, like $5-10. You know,
There's a number 1 floating around on the Bay of E with the free gun, the free cardboard.
Oh, does it
pistol.
have the gun?
It
that
does.
was expensive.
Yeah, that's still.
Oh, Hebrew Kevin Comics. Yes,
Nice.
That's cool. That's cool.
So in the months to come, you'll see me posting that full set as I have German.
Nice.
I have other ones scattered around, but those are the ones that were in arm's length. But here's the big thing that I wanted to show. I got this from our friend Gennaro Vera, I think is his last name, on the group. And I just happened to have a box that was ready for it. So here is a Fantastic Four short box. And let me see if I can.
Oh man, this. See, I already know this is. I'm gonna be jelly of this.
So this.
I'd just be happy to have the box.
This is the Novidagi's run, right? The full run, right?
Wow.
The cool thing about this is there are ones in here. Like I had already gotten some of these and so forth, right? But there were ones that I never saw that I'm collecting, like the set of and so forth. So this one had for me. This one, which I hadn't really seen around a lot, like that's a set that I'm collecting, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even more so, this one. This is one.
Wow.
So that's a nice one.
This is a set I'm collecting, right? So I wasn't going to get this outside of this run, really. Like I've been looking for it and can't find it anywhere, right? Speaking of which, so in collecting this set, don't overlook the French like redraws of stuff like this, right? So here's like the version of this, right? Which I think is just super cool.
Super cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
the French did some amazing redraws. I forget there's a couple artists there that did them, but they're rad.
Yeah, so this is the whole run, right? Up to 120 something or other. I forget the number.
Dude, how much did that cost to ship? Did it come from Mexico?
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it was in reason. I wasn't going to be cheap. I was willing to pay for it to get here safely, right? So, was
it over $100?
I don't remember. So here's here's a key one, right? Because this is the paper where they drew him with without the full face, just the cowl, and everyone knows the story in the States. They thought the book wouldn't sell in the South, that they made him full cowl, right? So I do have duplicates of this, so Matt, we can figure a trade out.
Yeah, I definitely need that.
So there's the full run of these bad boys.
Dude, that was amazing. That was an amazing buy. Great buy.
And it was, it was affordable. I mean, it's a little bit expensive, but I was like, how many opportunities am I going to get with this? Right?
Exactly.
Not the complete run, and then when you factor in that the condition of those it looks like that entire run was lovingly well cared for.
Some of them are pretty beat up, right? So to put an epilogue on the story. So here was the copy of one that came in that run, right? So it's got it's got some tape on it and stuff. It's not the greatest condition at all, right? the first maybe 10 or so are pretty weathered like this, right?
Mhm.
But luckily, my local comic shop guy had a copy that was like this, so I can upgrade it. So I will be selling this version at some point.
Oh, you'll find a buyer, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I just got this one from my local comic guy, and again, it was just because I animated him, and he put it aside for
Yep.
me.
Lesson to be learned here. Go to your local LCS. Tell them that you're into foreign books. Many of these American LCS will have short boxes in the back that haven't been looked at or rummaged through in years that have foreigns in there that they don't realize anyone gives a
And
shit about.
Klaus.
What's up, Klaus? Have a good weekend, bro.
Hey,
Hey,
Klaus.
Jeff.
Yeah, you're so right. Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
And if anyone else comes in, plus I'm the first foreign comic guy at that shop. If someone else comes in, I'll still be the first one that gets the first pass of things, right?
Hey, you're gonna have to tell him to lay off. You're gonna have to tell him to step back. Step
Right?
away, motherfucker.
So, yeah.
This is my honey hole.
Here. So, so on to you, Matt. What else you got?
Okay, let's see here.
Man.
Got Spanish Forum Conan 1 recently. Got 2 studio drawing HNGs from my buddy Josh. I don't know if Josh is still in there, but remember this, Josh? I hadn't shown him yet, but Bat HNG. And then this one is, I think it's a Silver Age horror title, but I forget the title. But you'll see the studio HNG stamp there.
So what is
And this one you'll see the studio HNG.
what does that mean? It's stamped on there by the printer, the publisher?
It's stamped on there by Hector Nava, and I think it's Garcia.
Yeah.
So what he was he was an artist or ran a stable of artists that was like my understanding of it is he was like a freelancer in a way, but him and his stable of artists did work for multiple Mexican publishers. Okay. And so what they did, what we think that these studio HNG copies were basically reference material. So Hector Nava was this guy, and he ran his stable of artists, and he was an artist as well. And they just went to the newsstands and picked up every single Mexican comic that they could.
Right.
They got stamped, and then they got put into some kind of reference library. We know that multiple issues of the same book have been stamped with the HNG, so they must have been just every month just going out and spending whatever they needed to get. And I'm sure a lot of it was related to, reference. So as they were doing work on stuff, if, kind of like with the Mile High collection, we know that Edgar Church, did advertising, but he used the comic books as reference to help him with his advertising illustrations. So it was kind of my understanding of Hector Nava was, he was one of the top artists doing stuff in his stable of artists. And if they ever had an issue or a question on how to do something, they could go right to their reference library and just pick and go, okay, that's how that artist did that. And a lot of them are going to have, American art that they can reference and use and help them do their stuff. So, there's 2 main pedigrees in Mexico that we know of: the Palacio and the HNG. And the HNG is known as being the largest. I mean, it's not known for necessarily having the greatest copies. Some are, but it was just so massive that we think at some point in time it got broken apart and it just like disseminated throughout the Mexican back issue market. So I also got Edino from Brazil has been listing some amazing e-balls. This is the Supergirl Super Mocha 1. It is called M Cores. So many of the e-balls are in black and white. This is full color. M Cores in color. And I love these M Cores because they have this cool little checkerboard on top. Yeah, I love it. I mean, so you find all these great DCs with it.
What a buddy of mine called the go-go checks, but in this case, they're go-go checks and they're actually multicolored. So,
Yeah, I love them. I just love that little stylistic thing that they did. And then, you know, Eric, we were getting into our focus is changing and how you don't put guardrails, you can go off the rails.
Yeah.
Well, I've been hanging out with Josh Allen and Robert and John Z for a while, and those guys are into horror, and it's been rubbing off on me, man. This is a Sobrenatural. This is, I believe it's issue 120.
Wow.
And it is an amazing illustration. I just love it. It is
There's
awesome.
Dark horror stuff out there, man. It's
Especially the
Oh,
Indonesian.
yeah.
especially in the foreign market.
especially the Indonesian. This is a Jaime Cortez cover. Jaime Cortez is the Frazetta of Brazil.
oh wow.
He's the guy that when Brazilian comic collectors talk about famous artists, maestros, so to speak, he's a maestro. He's a badass. And I had to own something of his. This is such a weird cover. This is the second printing of a first printing. Earlier in the run, they did this artwork, and it was more brown. This one they made more red. But what I love about this Dracula, of course, I love the blood coming out of his mouth. But look at his eyes. Do you see how they're not? What do they call that when you're the same on either side?
Like David Bowie, I don't know the name of it. Can you hold that up a little closer, Matt?
Yeah.
Symmetrical.
Symmetrical. You know, they say that beauty, as humans, we gauge beauty as having symmetrical faces.
Yeah.
Those eyes ain't symmetrical. And I don't think he did that on accident. I think
that's purpose.
He did that on purpose to make you feel wrong about it, right?
Most artists when they get into that and they're doing that and they're learning their art or whatever, that's what they're told a lot of times is to make the eyes a little bit off. Do this just a little bit off because that's human. It humanizes it.
Yep.
Makes sense.
And it looks, and so Jaime was on that, and there's something so unsettling about the image.
That is awesome.
And I'm I hate to admit it, but I'm getting pulled into the horror realms. I was all about sets and superheroes, but slowly but surely, I'm getting kind of pulled into the horror stuff, man. And it's hard. I'm fighting against it.
I love that stuff. I got into all the DC mystery format horror stuff and everything and stuff, and I love finding more stuff. So I liked all the horror stuff. It's
awesome. It's a whole nother world within the niche. It's a niche within the niche.
I daren't go there.
Especially, the thing with foreign
life is horror enough.
Like the thing about the books that we're collecting, like superhero ones, right? Like Steven's New Mutants, like he read that, so he has a connection to the story. So he's not necessarily buying it for the story, but the foreign aspects that we described. But foreign horrors you can buy strictly for the art.
Yes.
Right? That one's about the art, and like you're probably not curious to go find the story and read it. Just the art of it is amazing.
Or maybe, another interesting part of this whole thing is that as you get deeper and deeper and deeper into it, like our friend in Brazil, Victor, now I know how to say beer in Portuguese. So a beer in Spanish is cerveza. A beer in Portuguese is more cerveja. It's similar yet different, but there's linguistic things that turn me on about it too.
Yeah.
That maybe I will try to go in and actually read that Drax story. Maybe at a later date once I'm retired and I have time.
Nice.
But anyway, so I got one more round in me.
I got one more round too. So unless
I got nothing.
Okay, you got nothing.
I think Steven
I got
some.
Nothing.
Please, you got anything?
Well, I'm the grading guy. I'm all about grading, signing and grading. Now showing this, which is of course Titans number 59. A buddy of mine who works in the military and was overseas picked this up for me. As you can see, it got 7.0.
Wow.
And it's a cool book. It obviously is. I love it how it's greenish instead of bluish like the normal number one. This is a redone cover. It is not the original cover. I love how it's got Rain as herself rather than as a wolf. I've shown this before. But it's got multiple signatures on it because it's got Claremont and McLeod, who did the mutant story, and then it's got Dave Michelini, Tom Palmer, and Walt Simonson, who did the Star Wars story in this.
Wow.
So
Nice.
you know, that's
Can you-
cool. Of course,
Steven, does that say the artist? Does the notes
Yes.
have the actual French artist?
cover Gene Frisano.
Nice.
Gene Frisano is the
I
one
think
who
that's
did
the-
that artwork.
Can you
I
hold
think
up the
that's-
Italian one against that, just to compare the two? The
Oh,
Italian,
yeah.
I don't have it with me actually at the moment.
the one you just showed.
The Italian one. Just hold up the Italian one.
The Italian one of oh. Yeah. So
Yeah, look at that. That's beautiful.
That's
you know,
awesome.
so this looks more like the
differences.
American version.
Yep.
I wonder why they I wonder if there's why did they change her from the wolf version to just the human?
Matt informed me about that, and basically back then it's a cultural thing. The French weren't exactly fans of wolves throughout a lot of their early culture,
Interesting.
killing their sheep and killing their animals and stuff like that. They weren't really fans of wolves, and I guess maybe they just kind of felt like having her on the cover as a wolf might turn a few people off or whatever from getting the book. So even though she's a wolf in the book,
Right.
on the cover of the book, they just changed it so that it was her instead of
that's
her
so
as the
cool.
wolf, you know, like in
That's
the other. So it was later on. If you go through these Italian ones, or even the French ones. I mean, if you go through the French ones, they then start showing her as a wolf. You know, even on the cover, they give up on it. It's like, okay, it's popular enough. She's in the book as a wolf, so we'll just go back to like normal. But for some reason, you know, they did that early on.
I love all those changes. That's what we love.
This is it.
That's just cool because
The cultural changes are important.
this is a redone cover. Obviously, a different artist completely redoing the cover, but in effect, it looks exactly the same for the most part as the other one, with the same motion, the same running, the same Professor X in the background, a different color background, so that's hugely different. But then, you know, they do that big major change with her, which is a huge change from the regular copy. So it gives it that cool varying element, you know.
Yeah,
And
I
was showing the Italian X-Men's earlier. Here's my graded Italian of one of my favorite covers from X-Men 212 with the Mutant Massacre storyline. It's 7.5. It would have graded higher, but it has some bends along the spine in the back that really, really hurt the grade.
Yeah,
But
and those Marvel Italias can't be pressed.
Yeah. And
Beautiful
this is a Edizione Star. Edizione Star is the one.
Yep.
Who
Star.
did these.
Yeah.
La Caccia.
Cover stock covers.
Yep. La Caccia.
Can't be pressed.
What's
No,
the copy?
you can press them. You can press them, but the effect the press is going to have is very minimal to non-existent because the covers are just so thick paper stock. But yeah, this has Chris Claremont. Chris Claremont and La Caccia.
What's that? Is that Wolverine? No.
I'm trying to remember.
No. Massacre?
It might. I can't remember. I'd have to look at the other cover again. I can't remember offhand.
It's not a name. It's like a story title.
But this has Chris Claremont, Ann Nocenti, Rick Leonardi, and Jim Shooter. If I remember correctly, this also has Classic X-Men number 12, Uncanny X-Men 212, and Classic X-Men number 12 and 13. So that's another thing I like about CBCS. Not only do they give you the artist and everything for the redrawn cover for that other one, you know, they'll tell you everything that's going on. They'll tell you all the key stuff like first appearances and stuff. They treat it like first appearance. They treat it like an edition of a first appearance of this, or like this one says first Wolverine versus Sabretooth battle in title. And it's going to say that on this version. It's going to say that on the German version. It's going to say that on the American version. It's going to say that on every version because this is not a reprint. It's an edition. It's an edition. And they treat it as such, which I really love to do it. But they also have it on the back, where like up in here in the notations, they'll tell you the other issues and stories that are in the book. So you can know, what else is in here? Is it just that? No, it's this and this and this. Oh, okay, cool. So they let you know. And for one classic one, I'll show you a classic one. When I say I don't go into the silver or golden age stuff, I actually do have two golden age foreigns. One is the Suentas de Brujas I told you about, number 3, which was 1951.
Which I love, and I'm jelly of.
Which I love. And this one, which is kind of weird. It's a romance book. I think I've shown this one before. From
Oh, yeah.
1953. This is Australian. Australian
That's a
edition.
beautiful, beautiful book.
Barmore Publications from 1954.
What's that?
Love legends.
Is that a stamp above in the
Yeah,
middle?
Yeah, it looks like a
Love-
stamp.
That's what really. Now you notice this is an 8.5. So this is a very nice grade. Very nice grade for these. This is a beautiful book, but you'll notice there it actually says
File
foreign
copy.
file
File
copy.
copy.
This is a file copy.
But
Let me guess.
of the-
It says foreign.
Let me
It
guess. You
says
got that from Al
foreign.
It
Stoltz.
says foreign. Wonderful.
Did you get that from
What's that?
Al?
That's so
Huh?
great.
Did you get that from Al?
I found this in Baltimore, or excuse me. I found this at C2E2 in Chicago at the show. I forget the guy's name. He's known in the
Al
foreign
from
dealer.
Basement?
It might have been Al. It was him or someone else. I can't remember. But he had a number of things. He had my Japanese Spawn Angela.
Hmm.
On Angela. I got that from him. I got this from him. I got a Danish Batman from him, which I didn't even know when I got it from him. It turns out it had the first Silver Age appearance of Two-Face in it. Story from that with Neil Adams.
It could have been Dave
Alexander.
Alexander, too. Could have been DTS.
I got
He's
all
got a lot
those
of
from him
quotes.
at that show, including this one. When I saw this, I was like, this is cool as heck. Because
Yeah,
it's Golden
it is cool.
Age, it's classic old book. It's got the cool foreign file copy stamp on it.
Yeah.
It's a file copy. And it is labeled up here as Australian edition file copy.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's
You
incredible.
know, the back
Great,
has
great,
like a
great.
bunch of-
Told.
That's amazing.
I mean, that's just freaking super cool. And the
Yeah,
last
that is
thing
an
I'll
amazing
show,
book.
and the last thing I'll show is a cool French Canadian first
Woo! First
First
Red
Red
Sonja.
Sonja.
Heritage.
first read Sonia
Oh,
Conan.
love the EHs.
Mm.
EH
En
6.5,
français. En
And I got
français.
it signed by Roy Thomas himself. Who I got to
Mm.
sign it and grade it. Very cool.
Awesome. Quebecois.
That's amazing. Awesome. Yeah. So, what was it about those two? Like, that's not what you normally collect. Those Golden Age ones. What was it? Just that it had that stamp and the provenance.
I'm a collector. I have my things that I like to look for, just like any collector does. Every collector has their niche, their particular thing that they're gung ho on. That's normal. But I'm also a collector who, if it just strikes me,
Yeah,
if it just pops and jumps out at me, I don't care what it is. It can be
Right.
some horror or something from Indonesia that I've never seen before. It can be some romance book from Australia from the Golden Age like this. It doesn't matter. If I see it and it pops
Speaks
on
to
me
you.
for some reason. It can be condition. It can be like with that one, it was both condition and the stamp. The
Right.
stamp and the
I love the
condition
stamp.
together.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, and I think it was $25.
Yeah. I mean,
20,
What are you gonna
25
do?
bucks.
right.
I mean, I get an 8.5 condition file, stamp file copy of a romance
Yeah.
book from the 50s, Australian, in 8.5 for
The
25
price-
bucks.
That's a
I'm picking it up just
no-brainer.
because it's cool.
Yeah.
You know,
Those
I'm
days
not-
might be gone, Stephen.
Yeah.
Mm.
I said those days might be going away. Finding
they might be going away. You know, and
nice
I mean,
foreigns like that for that cheap.
yeah, I mean, you know, it just is what it is. But yeah, if it just pops out at me and strikes me for some reason, just no matter what it is, DC, Marvel, Image, Japanese, German, French, Italian, romance, horror, superhero, real life, it doesn't matter. If it's just
Yeah.
something that for some reason pops out at me and it just strikes me for some reason as cool,
Nice.
especially if I know I can maybe get a signature on it as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'll pick it up just because I know how hard it is to find anything foreign, anything for the most part. So if it's really good condition or just really looks neat to me, I'll pick it up. Especially
Yeah,
if
because it's an
foreign.
oak. It's an oak. As
Yeah.
it's
It's an oak.
classic Stephen Bagley terminology. If it's
One of
a
a
damn
kind.
oak, if
It's
it's
an
an
oak.
oak,
This-
I'm gonna get it.
This is an oak. You're not going to see another copy that's signed by all these people on it. You know, 5
Yeah.
different signatures.
You won't.
You're not going to see that. That's a one of a kind.
It's an oak.
That's an oak. That's an oak.
Yep.
That's
It's
amazing.
awesome. Great scores.
I just have one
Yeah.
more set that I'll show that I'm building. It's not complete, but it's getting there, which is this book right here, right? I'm
I love that cover.
Oh yeah.
I'm also building a 4 set, but this one's much further along, so I'm showing this one, right? So here's the US version, right? Here we have Pence copy, of course, because you have to have a Pence,
Nice.
For
right?
sure.
Here's an Australian one.
Oh, I love that one.
Newton.
Is that a Yaffa? Is that a Yaffa, Eric?
It's a Newton.
Oh, that's one of those Newtons that doesn't look like a Newton. That's right. Yep.
Right. Yep.
It did not
That's
have
a cool one.
The gentleman who sold it to me was kind enough to include a poster just because, right? So
Oh, cool.
didn't
Was that
come with
Greg?
it, but it
Was
came
that
with
Greg
it.
Blanche?
I
Was
don't
that
recall.
Greg, Eric?
It's probably well over a year that I bought this one.
Ah,
But yeah, so I got that poster in that one. What else do I got?
that's rad.
This is a UK.
No, it's
version,
UK. Yeah.
right?
Well, UK, baby.
Little digest editor copy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Got another version of this Spindlemannen coming from Nadim at some point. Here's the Brazilian, right?
PH.
No, that's Bruguera. That's Spanish.
Spanish.
I think.
That's what
Yeah,
I
I think if it's Bulgaria, it's Spanish.
Here is good old Vertice.
Oh, I love the Vertice.
Oh,
Lopez
wow.
Espy. Lopez Espy's not fucking around.
How cool is this, right?
SB is fantastic.
This is one of my favorites of his too. I mean, that's just amazing.
Yeah,
Right?
that is an amazing.
Lopez Espy should be more famous than he is.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sorry, but if he were to, once the Americans understand how amazing of a guy, an artist that guy is, and he's still alive and doing stuff, he needs to somehow make it here into the con circuit.
Yeah, you can buy. He has a website. You can buy some of his work.
Yeah, he's great.
Strange thing, although
The French love it.
I bought this and then it's a reproduction, which I'm losing sleep over it, right? And it was like it wasn't enough to make a big deal out of it. It was, so I was like, I just kind of ate it on this one. So
show the spine. What does the spine say, Eric?
a placeholder until I get a real copy.
Does it say? Okay, it doesn't say Facsimile on it, does it?
No, I just kind of got it. Probably did in the listing, and I probably just was too dumb to realize that it said it.
Well, there's 3. Those early French Stranges had 3 printings. The original, then they had one that was printed in vintage in around that, like in the
This is like
later in the 70s, and then the brand new one though should have Facsimile on its.
So was that passed off as
Fine.
a first? Was that passed off as a first pressing to you, Eric, or is it just a counterfeit?
Say again.
Was that passed off to you as a first pressing, or is it just a counterfeit?
No, I went back and I think it did say reproduction in the listing, and I just was too dumb to read it. It happens.
Got a
Placeholder.
So it's a placeholder in my collection, but here's the best one in the lot, right?
Ooh.
Oh yeah, the La Prensa, and in the La Prensa run, it's number 1, baby.
All hail the La Prensa.
So yeah, that's
a great book. That's a great book.
I need to pull out the Fantasy Masterpieces one and then get the Spindleman, and then I might be close to it. What'll happen once I have
Look at
that?
you finishing sets, Eric. Damn, you've become a set builder.
Once I have this, I'll post it in a group, and then I'll find out there are like 4 more that I don't have.
Yeah.
Right?
There'll be one from Colombia.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
There'll be
you don't have
Colombia
this one. Well, what about this one over here?
Oh, there better not be a Colombian, or Eric's going to have nightmares.
Oh,
right?
God, please no.
Yeah, you don't.
I
Trust
have.
me, you don't want a Colombian to be in existence.
No.
You don't want there to be a Colombian copy of anything.
Yeah,
That you're
if you're not
Like,
going to find it,
that's
or
one of the-
Filipino,
Filipino. That's one of the
Yeah,
daily
and,
prayers for foreign comic collectors. Please don't let there be a Colombian. Please
Yeah.
don't let there be a Filipino.
I don't want to have to chase
Yeah.
the Colombian.
One of the ones I collect is the Fantastic Four 112, the Buscema like Hulk and thing, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know there's an Indonesian version of that, but I have no expectations that I'll ever get one, right?
Hit up Ahmad.
I've asked a few people, and they're, but I'm not the only one looking for it, and
Oh, I'm sure. I hope you find it. Well, if I'll tell you what, if I see it, you're a part of the Indonesian group, right, Eric?
Yep. And I even posted in there. I was like, I'm in search of this book. I never do that, but I posted a picture and they're like, if anyone has this, let me know, right? And everyone was like, yeah, me too, me three. Right?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Oh shit! That's a fun set, though. I love that set. But your Silver Surfer, man, it's coming along great. Loving it.
Yeah, and I got a. I do have a 4 that I'm building somewhere. Speaking of which, right? So there's another. I mean, look at that.
Nice. God, I love the Vertices. Yeah, I mean, Lopez Espy, he needs to be more fucking famous, man.
Yeah, this whole pile is Vertices back here.
Yeah, Vertices are awesome. They're awesome. I would love to go to Spain and meet Lopez Espy.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, that's a badass one. Yep. Estela Plateada. Plateada. Oh, yeah, I love that. I have one of those too. I recently got one and I was like, woo!
Eric has one of these too.
I do. Here's some number 1. Silver Surfer number 1.
Nice.
I have 2 copies of this if anyone's looking. The Fury number 1. Got them. I have 2 copies of this if anyone's looking.
Hold on 1 second, guys. My dogs are going crazy. I need to check something.
That's number 1. So I could show this stuff all day.
There's another Australian.
There's an Iron Man
lovely.
Look at that. Daredevil number 1.
Oh, that's cool. Even with the old suit and everything, that's cool.
That's great.
Love that.
That's beautiful.
That's cool.
Dan Defensor. So I think we're waiting on Matt for one more little round.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to hit on before we kind of wrap up? We should. Oh, look at that.
That's the only Indo I've got.
Okay.
So far, that's the only Indonesian book I've got.
Indonesia's great.
Hey,
so
Steve.
Okay, I've got a group to take us out on.
Great.
And a very interesting one at the very end that is going to bring the sexy that Ken was talking about.
Bookend it.
I'm going to bookend it with sexy. We're going with Norwegian Swamp Thing 1.
Nice.
Gotta love that.
I love that.
Building that set. And let's go with another Norwegian. You know, the Moon Knight one is hot with the recent news that Moon Knight's coming. And I love the title.
Yeah, that logo looks like that logo looks like something you would do like in Photoshop 101, doesn't it? Like that's the first the gradient.
Yeah.
There's
the
chrome. It's the chrome gradient.
Chrome, that's it. Yeah.
It looks like it'd be on an album cover.
Yeah.
There's that Cloak and Dagger one where it's like carpet, you know, and that one looks the same. It looks like it's just created. It's like light and dark, right? That one looks like it's dark or something. It looks like it was made in Photoshop, like in modern times. It doesn't look like, you know, it's 30 years old.
Yeah, but it's a vintage book. I think it was 80. Did it say the
83, 82?
81. This book was printed
81.
in 81, so there was no Photoshop going on with it. But yeah, that chroming I mean, it's got a disco thing to me. And then we're talking about Filipinos. So you guys know that if you're interested in Filipinos, go back and listen to our show on Filipinos. We do a deep ass dive on them. This is a Goodwill Flash 371, I think, or it might be I think it might be different. This might be a different number because Goodwill did a different numbering. But this one was given to me by Eric Ignacio, and I got to thank him for that because I'm building this set now. It's just a cool cover. It's got the photo in the background. See the photo?
Oh, yeah.
It's a really cool cover. And it's a Goodwill Filipino. Whenever you got a Filipino, you got to just thank the comic gods, right?
Mm.
But this is where the sexy comes in.
Wait. I mean, even sexier than the Willie Ames poster?
Yes. This is the Italian La Donna Ragna. Okay. It is for adults,
No kidding.
Clearly for adults. La Doña Ragna, Fumero per adulti,
Right.
vietato al minori de 18 anni. So you better be 18 years old to buy this. And I gotta tell you, if Marvel saw what is inside this comic and their poor Spider, they would not be happy.
Bondagio e Maximus. No.
It is hard fucking core.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
talking like, and I was a little afraid it'd be more exploitative. So I bought this more as like a
Educational lesson.
Educational. But I was afraid it'd be more exploitative. So as you get into the more kind of crazy stuff, you get into the deeper fumetti adult rabbit hole, it gets really kind of nutty.
Yeah.
But this one, what I liked about it was that Spider-Woman was totally in charge of her own sexuality. She didn't do anything she didn't want to do. And I gotta tell you, there is some stuff in here that is unacceptable to show on YouTube or
illegal in like 42 states.
It's illegal in many. It's just hardcore porn.
Wow.
It's Spider-Woman.
Wow. We should call that.
It's Spider-Woman using her webbing in whole new ways.
Naturally,
we should call that niche. We should call that the Comic Sutra. That's what we should call that.
Yes.
Comic Sutra. There you go.
She has a very adventurous sexual life, Doña Ragna, in that book.
Wow.
Men, women, toys, strap-ons.
And you scanned every page, right, Matt? Yeah, you do know. I have a Dropbox account, don't you? I just putting it out there, Matt.
But it was just, I love so many parts of the hobby, and I really love the bootleg parts of the hobby. And you could sort of say this is a bootleg. Clearly wasn't licensed. Marvel never would have licensed this material. It's basically just an adult publisher in Italy says, hey, Spider-Woman looks popular. Let's do something with her. And they threw something, an artist threw something together and did it. That book is from Joe. And it was the funniest thing when I bought that book, as I was paying for it, he told me, he was like, you realize this is hard to the freaking core. And I said, yeah, I realize that. I just, I want to have an example of this type of book in my collection. And it was more hardcore than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a little watered down. You can get into some of the more adult stuff like Zaccarella and stuff where it's kind of really, there's nudity, but it's kind of classy. Aksa out of Norway. There's nudity, but it's the nudity isn't the focus, right? It's like there's actual story going on. This book is just nothing but sex.
So those other ones, you had the old defense of like, oh, I buy Playboy for the articles. You had the defense in that case.
There ain't no articles, buddy.
There ain't no articles. It's Spider-Woman in the triple X to the max.
Yeah, I think that's coming to Netflix. That's going to be one of the next series coming up, right? Spider-Woman and the.
It's like,
God.
I hear you're looking for a superhero plumber.
So that was kind of. Yeah,
that's one of those where you're looking at it and going, "Is the human body been that way?"
It's pretty crazy. I mean, at least I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't exploitative, and it was more about her doing her thing, and she did her thing, and
that's Italian, right? Those Italians
Italian.
They're quite progressive in that area in the bedroom.
Yeah, the fumetti, the adult fumetti. There's a whole subgenre of adult fumetti in Italy that is just hardcore to the max.
Yeah.
That would blow your mind, because here in America in pornography, we saw that, the Playboy cartoons. There was a lot of that stuff. Penthouse, I think, published a lot of adult comic books and stuff. But I don't think it ever hit. I don't think that illustrative hardcore ever quite hit here in America like it did in other countries.
Right.
And some of it, and some of it to me is very oxymoronic. Italy is a very Catholic country, so you wonder if it was because there were
Lots to
uh,
rebel against.
like maybe photography pornography was, maybe was deemed whatever. I'm talking out of my ass here, but there has to be a cultural reason that in some countries there was more illustrated pornography than there was actually photography pornography.
Right.
I'm sure the photo pornography existed in these countries, but for whatever reason, for us as Americans, we weren't exposed to a whole lot of that.
I mean,
And
any Italian viewers who are watching this right now, put it in the comments.
If
You know,
yeah,
your opinion. Let us know. We want to be educated too.
yeah,
Yeah.
you see
Now,
it all.
does
Go
your
ahead.
copy have the Donnie Marie poster in it, or did it come with that?
Didn't come with the Donnie Marie poster. No. I'll send you guys pictures if you want to see it in our thread.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
brutal.
If you want scans, send $9.99 to Define 999.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just one of those things, I'm not going to go off on a big kick and
No.
have boxes and boxes of Italian adult fumetti, but because it's connected to Spider-Woman and it's connected to Marvel, to me it's one of those oddities that I want to be able to have in my collection. One of the favorite things I like to do is to take a short box into comic book shops and go up to the comic book shop owner and go, I bet you I got books in here you've never seen. And the comic book shop owners go, I've seen it all, kid. Okay, let's take a look at what you've seen and be able to show them books that they've never seen. That's going to be one of those fun ones that at the end of the thing, I'm going to go, I got one more foreign book. Did you know that Spider-Woman did some really adult things in Italy? And they're going to go, what? It's just, it's more of a conversation piece for me, but
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool. And I love the bootlegging of that's why I fell in love with Indo bootlegs. There's some amazing Indo bootlegs and adult fumetti and the foreign comic world is so vast. We can't even even us who've been doing this for so long, we're constantly seeing stuff we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Hold that thought, guys. I'll be right back. I'm just needed. Keep going.
So that's the thing. There's stuff that we've never seen before, and sometimes you see it and you're like, I want to have an example of that. I want to have an example of that. I want to. It's like I don't know. It's just that's the thing that got me into foreigns really initially too. All the American books, they're great. I love them. It's part of our pop culture history. It's part of my nostalgic history as a comic book collector. But at a certain point in time, I just got fucking bored. Let's be honest. And the foreigns are just so new and so different and just so connected to culture, and like those South African super comics that you got, Eric, connected to being on the right side of history.
Yeah, that's 1979. That's apartheid South Africa. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. I mean, there's so many books that you can just connect. Stephen, like that Titans that you had, that New Mutants French too. That cultural reason for not showing wolves, or I mean, these books are literally taking our pop culture and filtering them through a foreign culture or through a foreign reality and then shining them back onto us. I can't think of anything more fascinating. I mean, it's just, this is the niche within the comic book world where you're going to see shit you've never seen before, and you're going to learn shit you've never learned before. I'm an acolyte, man. I'm a cultist.
Love it. Yeah, well said too. Yeah, thanks for that. That's probably a good, we want to keep them wanting more, right? So we're about an hour and a half. So I think we wrap up. That's probably a good, note. Evangelizing, proselytizing the hobby.
Proselytizing the foreign niche, baby. It ain't gonna be a niche for long.
Yes. For. Yeah. So yeah, always a pleasure to chat with you, gentlemen. We don't do it enough. I'm honored to have your friendship and company in these episodes. I learned so much, so many laughs. I love you guys. I love that I'm part of this community. Everyone in the group, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for share this, right? Please, Matt. Let's Define 999. That's where people can find you, Matt.
Yep, Define 999 on Instagram. Global Comic Safari on YouTube. Me and John Z do a show. We're working on our next show. It's going to be a Star Wars show. It's been a while since we've done it. Life has been fucking crazy, as we all know.
Yeah.
But our next show should be hitting, I'm hoping, within the next 2 weeks. It's going to be the second part of the Star Wars 1 set.
Nice.
And find me on Instagram as Define999. Find me on Facebook. It's just Matthew Roybal. If you're into foreigns and you just want to have questions, I love teaching. I should have been a teacher.
Yes.
And hit me up.
Awesome. And Mr. Ken Worthing, where can people subscribe to your page? KenWorthing.com is your website, right?
It is indeed, where it's basically my window showcase of what I've got and stuff. But the best way to actually reach out to me is on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, Ken's channel's great. I
answer every single comment, by the way. Every single one.
Nice.
All 12.
So go ask Ken where see what he says and so forth. Why is the sky blue and all that?
Exactly.
And Stephen, I know you have a grading business and so forth. Where can people find you? What do you do?
I deal with CBCS, as you can tell by this banner behind me here. I deal with CBCS and Beckett. So if you have card stuff or comic stuff, whether it's foreign, American, doesn't matter. I'm TGR Comics. I'm on Instagram at TGR Comics, which is the grading room, TGR Comics. I'm on Facebook as TGR Comics. I'm on Facebook as myself, Stephen Bagley. I'm on Instagram at BagofFleas, BAGOFLEAS, which is my nickname. People call me Fleas. I can't tell how many times I'm walking the show. Please! I'm like, oh God.
I'm gonna do that. That sexy Southern drawl, man. He's got it.
Yeah. So yeah, you can find me there. Bag of Fleas, TGR Comics. I go. There's not shows happening right now. Hopefully later this year, maybe in the fall, we'll start having a show or two happening again. I might be able to get out there and help you guys get some of your foreigns, signed and graded, or just
Nice.
graded. I'm perfectly willing to help you out there and get some stuff done for you.
I noticed you've been posting some like graded cards for sale as well, and
Yeah.
I didn't realize the market for them was as like some of those.
It's just as insane as it is with comics or any other collectible. It is ridiculous.
I'm nuts right now.
Yeah.
Early 90s cards have just like 1990 Marvel Universe cards. They're through the roof. They're absolutely through the roof. It is insane. It's insane.
Wow. And that is also TGR cards. You have another
TGR cards, yeah. You can look me up at TGR cards, TGR comics. The grading room. I've kind of gone on and off doing podcasts as the grading room. I haven't really been steady with anything on that. I may have to get back on to doing that again. So
right on. Cool. Well, like I said, it's always a pleasure to chat with you, gentlemen. Let's do it again sooner than later.
You will.
Stay safe, wear a mask, social distance, and keep on collecting. You got any scintillating words to send us out with, Ken?
In the darkest corners of the universe, where comics are hidden away and nobody knows where they are, you will find them here.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. Love it.
It's in UK. There's something about those Brits. They got that sexy accent. I don't know, man. He said he was bringing the sex. He brought it.
I know, right? Awesome. All right, gentlemen. Have a good day. Peace.
Bye, guys.
Cheers, everybody. Love you all.